Okay, I guess we'll get started, see a few more people trickling in. But welcome everyone to Trent University's virtual winter open house. We are so excited to welcome you to the Biomedical Sciences session. My name is Jillian, and I am an enrollment advisor here at Trent and a proud Trent alumni who took some biology courses. And I will be your moderator for the session today. Today with me, I have an all-star panel, as you can see here by their beautiful faces. I have Dr. Leslie Kerr, Associate Professor and Program Coordinator for the Biomedical Science Program. I have Sarah O'Connell, a fourth-year student, as well as Athalia, who is also a fourth-year student in the Biomedical Science Program. And we also have Bella, who will be helping in the chat, who's a student ambassador here. We are so excited for the path that you have ahead of you and look forward to sharing with you all of the reasons why Trent has been ranked the #1 undergraduate university in Ontario for 11 consecutive years. During this session, you can ask your questions in the chat, and at the end of the session, we'll have a short Q&A period with the members of our panel here. I also invite you to put your questions in the chat box at the bottom of your screen, and Bella and myself will be answering those. This presentation is offered with closed captioning, and to enable that, you can select the 3 dots at the bottom right-hand side of your screen and select Show Subtitles. Our events page today, you'll see all of the live chats happening in the different sessions that have led you to this one here. And so drop into any sessions that pique your interest, as well as definitely visit the admissions session if you wanted to accept your offer or have any questions about an offer. With that, you'll probably want to know more information about biomedical sciences. So I'm going to pass it on to Leslie, who will give us a presentation.
Thank you, Jillian, and welcome everyone to the info session for biomedical science. I'm just going to share my screen with everyone. All right, so I just want to orient you to Trent University. I'm not sure if you know the university. Has a beautiful campus that has both a west bank and an east bank. It's divided by the Otonabee River. All of the science all the science essentially takes place on the east bank right here. Get to into reality, winter scene. And you see here again, the East Bank, sort of different view, and this is our library. All right, so let's get into what biomedical science info session at Trent. But first I want to talk to you about what is biomedical science. A lot of students really want to get into biomedical science because they hear the word medical and they think of medical school. Well, you definitely can. Is a good program to get into medical school. We've had at least 12 students get into medicine since our start about 2016. But it's not just medicine, because biomedical science actually encompasses the broad fields of biology, chemistry, and physics. Of course, with a focus on health and disease, not just humans, but all animals potentially, if you want to become a vet, for example. Biomedical science actually studies the structure and function of humans and animals, from the molecules to the cells to the organs, and how that animal really interacts with the external environment, or human interacts with the external environment, and how that can change the health or disease state of that human. So we have, of course, the biology and biomedical science and the medicine, but there's also, you learn a lot about technology in your labs, and also be able to learn a lot about research and hone and build your research skills. At Trent, biomedical science students study practical and theoretical aspects of many different health-related topics, including anatomy, cell biology, immunology, physiology, of course, psychology, endocrinology, et cetera, et cetera. And you would have a flexibility to also to personalize your degree by incorporating areas that may be of interest to you outside of the sciences, perhaps, such as in humanities or social sciences, but also you can also choose electives in the sciences. And I'll go through some of those in this talk today. You'll also have at Trent a unique opportunity to be mentored by faculty members. We are a smaller-ish university, and a lot of the faculty members here are really interested in discussing and getting to know our students. So you'll be able to interact with the faculty members, And in biomedical science degree, you'll also have the opportunity to interact and be mentored by one or more health or medical professionals in our community. What is unique to Trent in biomedical science is that you, in your 4th year, you'll have a experiential learning course. This is a required course of all 4th year students where they get immersed into the real world experience of health or medicine in the community, and they're mentored by one or more professionals in those areas. This is a required course. I'll also discuss that in today's seminar, and we will look also at what you might be learning and doing and what you can do after your degree. In these experiential learning courses, of course, it's hands-on learning. You learn about the area of medical profession you're in, but you also learn transferable skills such as talking with people, talking potentially with patients and understanding the interaction of the caregiver and the patient, or what the workings behind a particular practice such as chiropractic practice or perhaps dentistry. Looking at the structure of the biomedical science degree at Trent, it is a 4-year honors degree, with what you can do either with or without the 4th year honors research thesis. The 2 students we have with us today are both doing the honors research thesis along with their placements and whatnot. So you might be able to ask them some questions about that if you wish. Each semester, if you were to take biomedical science, it's pretty the same as all universities. Each semester is a 4-month, September to December, January to April, and you take 5 courses, which will be about 10 to 15 hours of lecture in class each week, hopefully in class. And you also will have 2 to 3 labs per week, and each lab usually runs about 2 to 3 hours. Again, at Trent, we really encourage students to interact with faculty, as well as you'll have your academic advisors and potentially, if you wish, career counselors to discuss how to build your degree and what kind of electives you might want to take and other things you might want to do to have success once you finish your biomedical science degree at Trent. So I'm going to go through the biomedical science degree and what courses are required, the electives that you can have, and what the course structure can look like. I do want to draw your attention to the fact that all of this information is in the academic calendar. That's a huge, I call it the Bible for students, and that is what all the courses, it contains all of the courses that are offered at a university, Trent, for example, obviously in this case. And it also, when you go through it, you can build your degree even when you start in 1st year, because you'll know which prerequisites are required, what courses are required to get into that 2nd or 3rd year class that you really want to get into. So again, that's the academic calendar. You can find it online by simply Googling Trent University academic calendar. Look at the undergraduate calendar, obviously, for the undergraduate degrees and courses available. So here is the general structure of a biomedical science degree and the courses that are required. In your 1st year, you'll be taking foundations of biomedical science along with physics, as well as human anatomy and physiology. Your chemistry courses, introductory chemistry, introductory psychology, and some math courses. Important ideas in math to get to understand the technology and apply those ideas also when you're doing your research thesis, if you do one. In 2nd year, you'll be taking introductory genetics, cell biology, some organic chemistry, some statistics, some more math, and biomedical ethics. Now you see your electives coming into play. Those are courses that you can choose to take. The prescribed electives are those electives, those are the courses that are available at Trent that are more focused to the biomedical science degree. So there's a list of those courses, which I'll show you in a few slides. In your 3rd year, you see the elective number has doubled. You will be taking histology and perhaps evolution, molecular biology, and animal physiology, one of the 2 types of focus of that animal physiology courses. And again, you have 6 electives now. In your 4th year, the only required specific course you have to take is your placement in health sciences or your internship in medical sciences. That's a competitive entry experiential learning course that I'll be describing in the next few slides. And again, now you have 8 electives. whatever you would like to do, whatever you would like to, whatever sort of really rocks your boat. You can choose those. But again, you should be making sure that you have those required courses for that particular elective in your 4th year before you apply for it. All right. So your placement and internship courses, those are those experiential learning courses in your 4th year. All students will have the opportunity to take the placement in health sciences. And this is a full year course. And the students in this course will spend approximately 6 hours per week in a health or medical related area. The students who have over 80% average can apply to the competitive entry course, which is the Internship in Medical Sciences, if they wish to do so. And it is, I mentioned, a competitive entry course. And due to the number of preceptors, that is the physicians that we have at our local hospital that are willing to mentor the students that particular year, we have to limit the number of students. So that's the competitive nature of the course. In this particular course, students spend up to 3 hours each week shadowing physicians such as anesthesiologists, pathologists, gastroenterologists. And so they follow these physicians around and see what they do. They do their rotations in the local hospital here, Peterborough Regional Health Center. In order to remain in the biomedical science degree, I do want to point out that students must maintain a 75% average each year of their degree. Well, I think a lot of students do want to get into med school when they take biomedical science. So that would probably be what you would want to be doing anyway, if not a bit more throughout your studies here at Trent University. So let's look at those prescribed electives. Those are the courses that you can choose from, but are more biomedical science related. And they include courses such as Principles of the Nervous System, Epidemiology, Immunology, Pharmacology, Epigenetics, and Metabolism, for example. The courses that you can choose from do change a bit from year to year, depending upon the faculty who are available to teach them, but they're pretty consistent across the years. And these are a list of some of them that have been offered in the past. An example of the free electives, those electives that you can choose from any of the areas, such as the humanities and social sciences, or perhaps a more human health focus or bioscience focus. You can choose from any of these particular courses in the university. Again, you must make sure that you have the prerequisites for those courses. Now, why would you be interested in social sciences or humanities? Well, maybe let's say you want to be you're thinking about maybe I want to be a midwife, right? And so you really want to get that background perhaps in the social sciences or even psychology. Or you might want to be a counselor, a health counselor, or a person that is doing health administration, for example. So you can choose these courses, such as moral issues, the philosophy of science, health economics, for example, or health placed in the environment, understanding how health and environment interact. Topics that we have here, or courses, sorry, that we have here at Trent in the humanities or social sciences that you may be interested in. Again, think about what you're going to do after you graduate. And you'll be able to talk perhaps with the two students we have here today because they're 4th year students, and they're going to be sort of jumping off and spreading their wings into a new area of their life and opportunities. Other electives, if you want to do psychology electives, include our human health focused electives. You have the opportunity to choose from neuropsychology, memory, human sexuality, or psychopathology. More interested in the sciences, we have many students that really are really keen on learning more chemistry. So they really load up their electives with chemistry courses. But you might be interested in perhaps more biology related courses and perhaps even more courses related to vets, more related to animals. You have an ability to choose among those in your electives. Tons of opportunities to really focus your degree on what really interests you, with, of course, the idea of biomedical science under with the umbrella, excuse me, of biomedical science. So what do you do after your degree? Well, with biomedical science, you have had all of these applied science courses that you've learned and really honed your skills in. And you should be pretty confident, we hope, in laboratory and course material. And you have all of those skills that you can present to your potential grad school or professional program. And you can add those to your CV, your curriculum vitae, or your resume. So biomedical science really is a versatile degree that really can help you start your career, jump off from your undergrad degree into graduate school or into more professional into professional programs such as medicine and dentistry. So due to its multidisciplinary nature, biomedical science, as I mentioned, is a versatile degree, and it will help give you excellent background in many professions, such as a research scientist, a dentist, again, of course, a physician. Perhaps you want to go into virology or become a professor, or even into optometry, potentially. It is a versatile degree, and you might not know at this juncture what you want to do, but I want to remind you to think outside of the box. And those of you probably don't really know what these people are at Star Trek. It's the old Star Trek, and this is Dr. McCoy holding a tricorder. That's a machine that they could just sort of scan people to see what was wrong with them. And why do I mention this? Well, Canada and some biomedical scientists, in conjunction with some engineers in Canada, entered a competition to make a tricorder. We didn't win. I think we got fourth, and we got honorable mention. And in fact, nobody actually met the criteria for the tricorder, so they're still trying to hone its production. But biomedical scientists help with that. Something very interesting, technology. Overall, the degree, biomedical science, as I said, is versatile, and at Trent is designed to prepare you for entry into your health or medical related fields, either going again onto grad school or other professional schools. You can choose to do graduate studies in things such as biomedical engineering, community medicine, exercise physiology, healthcare administration, as I mentioned before, neuroscience, or even education. And the jobs that are available for biomedical scientists are huge, depending on how you've honed your degrees. You can become, for example, perhaps if you want to even decide that you enjoy plants and how plants influence human health or animal health. You become go into botany. You can do exercise therapy, perhaps even a lawyer. I've had 2 students become lawyers, not in biomedical science, but 2 of my students in biology degrees with the health science specialization. Orthopedic surgery, you can even try, right? So you have many opportunities available for you for careers, depending on what you have done in your further graduate study training. So that concludes what biomedical science is and what you can do with your biomedical science degree and what is offered here at Trent. Thank you for attending the session. And then we're going to open it up to the students and the chat for any questions.
Perfect. Thank you, Leslie. That was very helpful, especially for the students that we have here today that are maybe thinking about biomedical science, maybe have applied and wanting to know more about what it's like. So thank you. I really liked how you emphasized those transferable skills and how flexible the biomedical science program is, especially in the humanities and arts and that interdisciplinary way of thinking for grad school, being well-rounded for med school or any graduate programs afterwards. So thank you very much. I'm going to put our 2 students on the spot, Athalia and Sarah. I have some questions for you, some hard questions, I think. But my first question, we'll start with you, Athalia. What do you love most about your program? What do you love most about the biomedical science program?
Personally, I like the program flexibility. It starts off very structured, which is very helpful because you're thrown into a new university experience and you have all your first year courses laid out for you. So that takes one thing off of your plate for first year and you can navigate other areas for first year. But then after that, you get to kind of choose what you want to do and what you want to specialize in. And I did even go in and take some humanities courses such as sociology to make myself more rounded. And I really enjoyed those courses, especially because they still had that health focus, which I have enjoyed. And in terms of program flexibility in upper years, yes, you have that placement or internship requirement, but you still can do your thesis on top of that or a community-based research project. Even though it's a lot to handle at this with all the work you have, it helps you to be more rounded. And I'm glad that like with the placement and internship being there, that isn't taken off the table for your thesis. You can still go into research.
Well, it sounds like you do love your program and you've taken use of those opportunities that were offered for you. So that's amazing to hear. And Sarah, what about you? What do you love most about the program?
I would have to say the small size. So I feel like you get to form connections with your professors and your peers a lot more than you would at, say, like a really large university. And I think that that's helped me grow a lot and learn a lot throughout my university experience. Another thing that I was concerned about when I went into university was having sort of a toxic pre-med experience, because I heard a lot of horror stories about sort of like that toxic competition between peers. So I really wanted to avoid that. And I feel like coming to Trent, I've been able to collaborate a lot with my peers. And I think you can learn so much from those around you. And so I think it's just allowed me to develop a lot more as a student. And I have to add in, I also love the internship. I was able to do that this year, and it was incredible.
It's a great opportunity being such a small to mid-sized university, getting to know your professors by name. Like when we joined, Leslie knew you and Athalia by name, which is very rare. Again, you're not just a student number here at Trent, and in that collaborative learning, I'm sure that both of you have made friends within the program that you'll stay friends with for the rest of your lives, basically, and maybe are interested in graduate studies like yourselves as well. So it's amazing the connections you make and those opportunities that you do have at a smaller institution. And I guess a lot of the people here today, they've applied, maybe they're waiting to hear back, or they're just tuning in to see what it's like being a student. But I'll start with you, Sarah. What advice do you have for a student that is looking into university or the biomedical science program?
I know that it's really intimidating and stressful applying to university. I remember not having the best time trying to figure out where I was going to go. I actually accepted my offer to a different school initially, and I just didn't feel like it was right. I actually had nightmares about it and felt like I should come to Trent. So I switched at the last moment, and I'm so glad that I listened to my gut and did that. But once you get here, if you do come to Trent, make sure that you talk to your profs and make connections within your program, because it makes it a way better experience. And then getting to know your profs, like the profs really, they make you feel like they care about your success. And it's an amazing experience at Trent. Also, just enjoy the university experience, be dedicated to your studies, work hard. It pays off, but also make sure that you're taking advantage of university. It's a really exciting time in your lives, and make sure you have fun.
Aw, thanks for sharing that, Sarah, and thank you for being here, because that's what's led you to this moment and telling the students your advice, right? It's things that you don't think about past applying and waiting and accepting that offer. So thank you, and we're happy that you're here. And what about you, Athalia? What advice do you have?
I want to reiterate as well as what Sarah said, to talk to your professors and to your TAs, because they're really your biggest resource, and they're all there to help you. I know it's very intimidating going to approach a professor. I get nervous every time, but they have been so nice. I have nothing but good things to say about the professors at Trent. And it's good for networking later on in life too. And you probably fourth year comes around and you're going to need references to go to like med school or go into graduate programs. It's very important to make those connections early on. And it also helps while you're in class. If you have any questions, go and ask them, because that's how you're going to do well in your classes, is getting out and talking to students and talking to your professors. Another thing is to take advantage of Trent's resources. Every year I have gone to academic advising and made sure I was on track to graduate. I think that's very important, and then it's important to plan out ahead of time, or go into academic skills and get help reading over your papers, again, to help make sure you succeed in your program. All those resources are available to you, and you just got to make sure you use them. Even though it is scary to do, it has helped me a lot.
Oh, and on the topic of that, I did see a question come in the Q&A, and someone had asked about that transition from high school to university. And I know both of you are saying, yes, it's a little nerve-wracking, but how did you find that transition, Athalia and Sarah, from high school coming to university? Was it what you expected? What was it like?
So I found that I was pretty prepared coming in because I was a national athlete throughout high school. So I was training 30 hours a week. I was used to a lot of stress and being very busy. So it wasn't too much of a shock coming in. But in saying that, it was a lot of work. And I think that Trent prepares you so much for that. And they really set you up for success because we have like free tutoring sessions. You have the TAs set up sessions where you can go in. I remember first year being down in the basement of one of our science buildings where the TAs were for chemistry, going to them, getting their help with the chem lab reports, and it just really sets you up for success. So like with my grades, I didn't really see much of a dip from high school. I maintained my average throughout my undergrad. And it wasn't really an issue because there are so many resources that you can take advantage of to be successful.
Perfect. Thank you. And then that's great to hear, because again, a lot of the students joining us are maybe in grade 12. So it's an exciting time, but thinking about, what you're going to take course-wise seems interesting. And I know somebody did ask in the chat, I'll direct it to Leslie. Can someone take an art elective?
Oh, yes. Yep. So I outlined them or whatever. And so arts are like social science, or rather sociology, for example, or English, or, so definitely, absolutely you can take art, an art degree, or rather art degree and art course for sure, and any of your electives. So it was whatever really is of interest to you. Some students actually have taken English literature because they just wanted to sort of step back from the sciences and do an English literature course. So you can absolutely do those. Would I be able to answer two questions that I saw in the chat, Jillian?
Yeah, of course.
So I saw a question of whether you can transfer into biomedical science. So if you have applied to Trent and you get an alt offer into biology, you definitely can transfer into biomedical science, but you want to make sure that you're taking the courses that are required for the transfer. So if you go on to the Trent website, or even just Google transfer biomedical science Trent University, you'll see that we have on the biology website, since biomedical science is in the biology department, you can find out how to transfer, or you can talk to either me or biology's coordinator, Tracy Ross. So I guess if Jillian, we can put those in the chat, just lker@trentu.ca. And I'm not sure of Tracy Ross's email, but you can definitely transfer in your from first year to second year, from second year to third year, but it is competitive because we have specific numbers that we can allow to get into the degree. Another question I saw was entrance grades from high school, and typically they have been running higher than 75%. I'm not sure if the last 2 years things have been a bit wonky, but in the past, from when we started in 2016 through to 2019 at least, it's been about an 83% average from high school to get in. And again, you want to make sure that you have your required courses, including physics or earth sciences, for example, in one of your 2 maths. Okay, so that's was just answering those particular questions.
Perfect, thank you. And I did see we did see another question come in. I know you touched upon it a little bit, but what are a few jobs after completing the biomedical science degree, or pathways that you've seen students take?
Well, there's so pathways are varied. Students go into grad school, they get into med school, they get into dentistry, they get into pharmacy, they go into physiotherapy, chiropractic. They've gone on to they went into education, nurse practitioner. And again, we haven't had anybody go into law school from the biomedical science degree, but in the past, before we had the biomedical science degree, we had the health sciences specializations, which was sort of more, which was similar to the biomedical science. And two of my students actually are now lawyers. So it's whatever you really want to get into, that obviously has a biomedical science-ish slant, a science slant.
And my last question was the contact information. I know I've already put that in there, but my last question, I guess, for you, Leslie. I know I asked Athalia and Sarah their advice for students interested in the program. What advice do you have as a professor in the program?
If they're interested? Or I think the main thing that I've always told students is that you really want to make sure, and it actually goes back to Sarah's point about you want to have a good feeling about what you're doing, and you want to have a good feeling about the university. You're going to be studying hard, you're going to be studying a lot, but you're also going to, as Athalia and Sarah both said, you should enjoy yourself too, and get out there and do things that are offered at the university. So it's not, if you get in, it's all up to you. Have fun and take advantage of every resource that you have, including the professors, or your TAs or other students. There's a pre-med club. There's many clubs at the university, which I highly recommend students join if they're interested in that stuff. We have a lot of students that join the various clubs. So it's not a one shot sort of answer, but it's sort of essentially make sure you really want to do what want to be in biomedical science and study. It's a good degree, a really good degree, but it can be, of course, hard, challenging at times.
And it's nice that we have days like this where we can hear from students in the program and yourself, so students that are interested can kind of get a glimpse of what it's like. And then I did see one more question come in the chat of how many people are accepted into the biomed program. And I saw Bella answer it. It's about 50 students accepted into the program. And I am cognizant of time as there are other sessions happening, but I guess that's the end of our presentation today. So I'd like to take a moment to thank you, Dr. Leslie Kerr, for your great insight on the program, Athalia for sharing your experiences, as well as yourself, Sarah, for being here and being in the program like you shared with us. But this session has been recorded and it will be posted on our open house webpage if you'd like to view it again, or maybe you have some friends or family that couldn't make it today. I do also invite you to come visit our campuses. We are doing in-person tours 6 days a week. So come and visit us, see what the classes are like, see what the campus is like. It's truly a different feeling once you're here. You can only do so much with virtual things, but being here, you get that feeling of you belong, and you can see what your life might be like in September if you accept your offer. And so again, take a look at all the events that we have today in different sessions, as well as the live chats happening. And I know there were some questions in the chat about specific admissions questions about your application. The admissions team does have a live chat today as well, where you can ask those questions. But again, thank you everyone for joining us today. And thank you to my panelists. And hopefully we'll see you all in September here on campus. Take care,
Thanks
everyone.
to everybody.
Bye.